Hi friends, welcome back to class. Today is a really special one. We're going to do a dynamic movement yoga class. So what that means is it's very similar to a vinyasa flow in that we're flowing from one pose to the next, but it's a little less traditional. So you're not going to find any vinyasas, you're not going to do any chaturangas. There might be some poses you're less familiar with, but don't worry. We're going to go through the flow once nice and slow before we speed it up and make it more into a flow. So I'm excited to share with you today. But before we move, grab any props you might like to use. We are going to be on our knees for a short period during class. So if you want some extra cushion, grab a blanket or a towel. If you like to use any other props, feel free to grab them, but there's no props required for today. So when you've gathered everything, you're ready to go, let's meet in a comfortable seated position as we always do. We're going to take a moment to sit nice and tall, close our eyes, hands on knees or thighs, and take this moment to calm the mind before we start moving our bodies. Our yoga practice is, of course, great for our physical body, but it's also great for the mind in that we give our brains a break from thinking and worrying and wondering about what happened yesterday, what's happening today and tomorrow and next week. We're going to set all of that aside and we're going to focus on where we are right here, right now. Anything outside of our yoga mat is none of our concern. So just gently breathing in and out naturally, letting the breaths flow as they come, not trying to force a specific kind of breathing. Just taking this moment to be where you are. And maybe consider, what's your focus today? What's your focus for the next 30 plus minutes together on our yoga mat? What is it your body needs, your mind needs? I always like to have either a word or a mantra for each of my practices. So if you want one for yourself, I'd like to suggest strength. Not just strength of our muscles, but strength of our endurance, strength of our minds. A lot of times these yoga poses aren't just challenging physically, but they can be really challenging in our heads because we're so worried about, am I doing this right? Am I doing this good enough? And it's really just about calming those thoughts, letting them go, and being present with your body, not judging it, just letting it be how it is. Knowing that nothing about your body is right or wrong, staying neutral. The most important thing is that you showed up today. You showed up for your practice, for yourself, and that takes a lot of strength. Maybe starting to slow the breath down as we settle in. Keeping in mind that theme of inner strength today as we take a deep breath in through our nose, all the way to the top, sipping as much as you can, and exhale to sigh it out the mouth. Let's do that one more time. Inhale through the nose, all the way to the top, and exhale, sigh it out. Beautiful. Slowly open the eyes. And we're ready to get moving. So let's start a little bit of a warm-up. We're going to start with our wrists. So you can stay in a cross-legged position. Or if you'd like, I'm going to switch to sitting hips to heels, like so. We're going to stretch our arms straight in front of us, flexing through the wrists so our palms are flat out in front of us. The back of our palms reaching towards our forearms as much as they can. Reach out through the shoulders, and we're going to slowly close the hands into fists, thumbs on top. And then open back up, fingers nice and wide. And just go back and forth, closing, opening, keeping that flex in the wrists. Maybe move a little faster. Our hands and our wrists are going to do a lot of support for us today, so we want to make sure they're nice and warm. Go a little faster. We call these flashlights because it's like we're turning a flashlight on, off, on, off, on, off. Maybe like a strobe light even. Go a little faster. You might start to feel the burn in those forearms. That means those tiny little muscles that work our hands are starting to warm up. Keep going a little bit faster. And we're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly roll through the wrists. Maybe take your hand to your fingers, press out that left palm, and then the other side, press out the palm, get a nice stretch, come into all fours here. Tabletop pose, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, and just lean forward and back on those wrists, forward and back. Just putting a little pressure on the hands. Remembering to press into the mat with the fingertips, and also with that pointer finger knuckle that tends to lift, especially we're in downward dog. All 4 corners of the hands pressing into the mat, fingertips gripping the mat, very strong foundation in the hands. One more time, lean forward and back. And then come into a neutral tabletop. We're going to move through a few cat and cows, open up the spine. So inhale, arch the back gaze forward, belly towards the floor. Exhale, tuck tailbone round the spine, draw chin towards chest. Inhale, arch the spine, gaze forward. Exhale, tuck and round. Keeping moving back and forth at your own pace here. Remembering the connection between the hands and your mat. Feeling strong. Feeling grounded. One more time each way. Inhale to arch. Exhale to round. And coming back to a neutral tabletop, tuck the toes, send the hips up and back to downward facing dog. First one of the day, so feel free to pedal out the feet. Bend and extend the knees. Sending the hips up to the sky, lengthen through the tailbone here. You can keep a nice bend through the knees, especially for our first downward facing dog. Drawing heels down towards the ground, but they don't necessarily have to touch. Pressing away out of the shoulders. Soft gaze towards the feet. Settle into stillness. Feeling the strength in your arms and your legs, holding you in this downward facing dog. From here, gaze forward at the hands and slowly tiptoe the feet forward, taking as many steps as you need to meet in a standing forward fold at the top of the mat. Let the torso drape over the thighs. You can grab opposite elbows, maybe add a little sway side to side. Keeping a bend in the knees here as we work on warming up our hamstrings. Let the head hang heavy. And then drop the hands back down. Slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. to standing in Tadasana mountain pose at the front of your mat. Head is last to lift. Feeling the feet planted into the mat, hips width distance apart, gazing forward. And we are ready to get into our dynamic flow. So, we're going to start nice and slow. I'm going to turn towards you so you can see what I'm doing, but feeling free for you to stay towards the front of your mat. We're going to start with a little bit of a balance here. So from Tadasana mountain pose, we're going to reach up with the hands and lift the left knee. Think about tucking in with that right hip, flexing through that lifted foot, nice and tall in the upper body. Take an inhale, find your balance. And on the exhale, we're going to bend the elbows wide like goalposts and open that left hip. Nice. From here, using those obliques on the left side, we're going to do a little side crunch. Draw elbow towards knee and back to center. Let's do that again. Crunch through the left side, elbow to knee, back to center. Once more, using those side body crunch, and then back to center and lower back down. Beautiful. A little balance, a little side body work. Let's do the other side. So from Tadasana, reach both arms up and draw the right knee up to chest, flexing through that right foot. Think about cinching in that left hip as we stand nice and tall. Find your balance first. One side is usually more balanced than the other. From here, elbows out wide and open that right hip. Now we're going to do our 3 little crunches. So using those side body muscles, crunch through the right, elbow to knee, back to center. Again, crunch through the right side, elbow to knee, back to center. Once more, find your balance, crunch, back to center, and lower back down. Nice. That's the first part of our flow. So we're going to do that again. I'm going to face the front of my mat this time, now that we're a little familiar. And then we're going to keep adding on. So, starting by lifting the left knee, reach the arms up, open the left knee, elbows out to goalposts. One crunch this time, crunch, left elbow, left knee, back to center. Now, adding on, we're going to open the hips up, kick that left foot back, reach right arm forward, left arm back, right knee is bent, elbows, right knee is bent, hips open to the left. We're leaning forward and kicking that left foot back. This is called floating bird. From here, lean back, land on the left foot. We're in warrior 2. A little more familiar there. Using a lot of our little balancing muscles. From warrior 2, hands at heart center. We're going to switch the bend into the left knee towards the back of the mat for a little bit of a high skandasana. We call this skater's pose. So the right toes up towards the ceiling. Left knee is bent, weight towards the back leg. We're going to use the power of that left leg to shoot us forward, reach up, lower the hands to frame that right foot at the front of your mat. Coming into a lunge. From our lunge, adding a twist. So plant the left hand down, reach the right arm up, twisting towards the right. Circle that right arm back, down, forward, and up. Twice more, back, down, forward, and up. One more time, back, down, forward, and up. Very nice. From here, lower the right hand down. We're going to step back, downward facing dog. Take a moment here, coming back to your breath. From here, gaze forward, bend through the knees, step or hop to the top of the mat, and rolling back up to Tadasana. Beautiful. Let's do that on the other side. Adding on, starting by lifting the right knee, Reaching both arms up, find your balance. Bend elbows into goalposts, open the right knee. Side crunch through the right side, elbow to knee. Back to center, now our floating bird. So opening the hips towards the right, kick that right foot back. Left arm reaches forward, right arm reaches back. Bending into that left knee as we lean forward and kick back. Lean back, land in warrior two. Hands at heart center. Send the hips back. Skandasana, high skandasana, or skater's pose. So left toes up towards the ceiling. Right knee is bent, all the weight towards the back leg. We're going to use the power of the back leg to shoot us forward as we reach up. Lower the hands to frame the front foot, coming into a lunge. Adding a twist, plant that right hand down. Reach left arm up as we twist towards the left. Let's circle through the left arm 3 times. Circle back, down, forward, and up. Again, back, down, forward, and up. One more time, back, down, forward, and up. Nice. Lower the left hand down, step back, downward facing dog. Feeling the stretch in the hips that we got on both sides. Coming back to the breath. Feeling the strength and resilience of our body. From here, bend the knees, gaze forward. Step or hop, top of the mat. Slowly rolling back up to stand. Beautiful. So we've got 2 parts added to our dynamic flow. We got 1 more to add. So we're going to do all of that again, plus a little bit more. You got this. Take a drink of water if you need. Find your zen here. Coming into that Tadasana. We're going to again start with that left knee. Reach left knee up, arms up. Goalpost arms, open left hip. Crunch left side, elbow to knee. Back to center. Floating bird, kick back, reach forward, bend the right knee. Lean back, land in warrior two. Hands at heart center. Switch to skater pose, high skandasana. Use the power of that left leg to propel you forward. Hands frame the front foot into a lunge. Plant the left hand down. Reach straight up. 1 circle, circle back, down, forward, and up. Now here's where we're going to add on. So plant the right hand, step back, downward dog. And this time, lift the right foot straight up and back for 3-legged dog. Bend into the right knee, open the hip. Move through a few hip circles here. Circling with that right knee. Switching directions. Opening the hip. Keeping the hip open, slow the circles. Plant that left heel down as you reach the right arm up. A little bit of a side plank here. Press out of that left shoulder. And then coming into wild thing. So plant that right foot behind you as you press the pelvis forward. Maybe a tiny little back bend here, nothing huge. And then slowly, without moving the feet, just lower the hips down to the mat. So you might be outside of your mat, that's okay. The left leg is straight, right knee is bent. We're going to add a twist. So twisting towards the right, wrap that left arm around the right knee as we sit up nice and tall and twist to the right. If you're kind of like, whoa, how did we get here? I don't understand, don't worry. We're going to do it all again. Unwind your twist. Now we're going to come back to our mat by rolling over and popping up to the knees. Now, if your knees are sensitive, this can be a great place to grab a blanket or a towel and place it under the knees. From here, we're going to come up onto fingertips, bend the elbows out nice and wide, thinking about using the power to pop up to the knees. Press and pop, elbows out wide, tiny little baby back bend here as we press the pelvis forward, lift the chest, and lean slightly back. Just a small movement here to open up the shoulders. And then slowly come back to center. Plant the hands, tuck the toes, send hips up and back, downward facing dog. Bend through the knees, look forward, step or hop, top of the mat. Slowly roll all the way to the top. And we got through one side. That's the entire flow. We're going to do that nice and slow on the other side. And then we'll pick up the pace a little bit. And you might find that picking up the pace makes it a little bit easier. So, meeting in Tadasana, we're going to lift the right knee this time. So reach the arms up, lift the right knee forward, find your balance. Bend elbows wide, open the right hip. Side crunch to the right, right elbow, right knee. Coming back to center. Kick that right foot back, floating bird, reach forward, bend the standing leg. Lean back, warrior two. Hands at heart center, send the hips back towards the back leg. Skater pose, we're gonna launch off the back leg to press. Open the arms. Plant the hands to frame the front foot, coming into a lunge. Add in the twist, plant the right hand. Lift the left arm. One circle, lower back, down, forward, and up. Plant the right hand down. Step back, downward facing dog. Lift the left foot, kick back, bend the left knee, open the hip, and move through some hip circles on this left side. Opening the left hip, circling the opposite direction. From here, keep the hip open, knee bent. Plant that right heel. Lift the left arm, little side plank, and then lower left foot behind you for a wild thing. Press the pelvis forward, don't slip like I just did. Reaching up and back with that left hand, press out of that right shoulder. And then without moving the feet, just lower down to a seat, legs exactly where they are. Make sure you have enough room. So left knee is bent. Right leg is straight. We're going to twist towards the left. So left arm behind you like a little kickstand. Wrap the right arm around the left knee and twist to the left. Sitting up nice and tall. Twisting with the exhale. Find a little breather here. And then unwinding back to center. We're going to come back on our mat by just rolling over onto our knees. Lift up onto fingertips. Bend the elbows out wide. Maybe do a little pulses here. And then we're going to press up with the fingers to come up to the knees. Elbows out wide, goalposts. Press the pelvis forward. Lift the chest. Tiny little camel pose here. Just opening the shoulders, drawing shoulder blades together. Maybe gazing slightly up towards the ceiling. And then coming back to center. Lowering the hands. Sending hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a moment here. Remembering your commitment to strength today. If you find yourself being judgmental, feeling like you're not strong enough, you're not good enough, you're not doing this right, This is your reminder that you're exactly where you're meant to be, and you are so much stronger than you think you are. Pat yourself on the back for getting through that flow. It takes a lot of strength, not just in our bodies, but in our minds. Bend through the knees, gaze forward. Step or hop top of the mat. Roll up to a stand, meeting in Tadasana. Beautiful. So we learned the whole flow. We're going to do that a couple times on each side. This time a little more flowy, a little more like a dance rather than a strict flow. So if you find yourself wanting to move your arms in a specific way that's a little different than me, feel free. Make this flow into something that's enjoyable for you. So, meeting at the top of our mat, we're going to start with our left knee up. Reach up, open the hip, goalpost, side crunch, kick back, floating bird, lean back, warrior two, come back, high lunge, press off the back leg, open the arms, plant the hands, plant the left hand, open twist to the right, one circle, back, down, forward, up, lower the hand, step back, reach right leg straight up and back, bend the knee, no circles this time, opening up to our side plank, lift the right arm, press out of that left shoulder, lower right foot down behind you, press the pelvis forward, wild thing. Slowly lower down to a seat, twist towards the right, one beat. Coming back to center, we're gonna roll up to our knees, up to fingertips, bend the elbows, pop up. Elbows out wide, press pelvis forward, tiny baby camel. Lower the hands down, pop up, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, gaze forward, step or hop. And rolling all the way up, Tadasana. Nice. Other side, starting with the right knee up. Lift right knee up, reach arms up. Open the hip, goalpost. Side crunch, right side. Kick back, floating bird. Lean back, warrior two. High lunge, skandasana. Press off that back leg, circle the arms forward, plant the hands. Plant the right hand, reach up, open twist, circle back with the left arm. Down, forward, and up. Plant the right hand down. Lift left foot straight up and back, three-legged dog. Bend the knee. Come up to your side plank, lift the left arm. Lower left foot behind you. Press the pelvis forward, wild thing. Lower the hips down to a seat. Twist to the left. Just for a beat. Unwind, coming back to your mat, pop up to the knees. Fingertips, bend out wide, pop up, elbows out. Tiny back bend, press the pelvis forward, shoulder blades together, and then lower back down. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Knees bent, gaze forward. Step or hop, top of the mat. Slowly roll up to a seat. Roll up to a stand, excuse me. And there's our flow. Kind of more flowy, kind of more dancey. We're gonna do that one more time. Take a moment for some water. Maybe adjust your clothes. Let's do that one more time together before we cool down. You got this. Don't worry about if you got every single move perfectly right. Just go with what feels right. So, starting with the left knee. Reach up, lift left knee. Open out, goalpost. Left knee, left elbow, crunch. Kick back, floating bird. Lean back, warrior two. Send it back. High lunge skandasana. Press off the back leg, reach up and around. Open twist to the right, reach the left arm up, circle back, down, forward, and up. Lower right hand down, three-legged dog, right leg lifted, bend the knee, side plank, lift the right arm. Lower right foot down, press pelvis forward, wild thing. Lower the hips to a seat, twist to the right. Unwind back to your mat, come up to the knees. Bend the elbows out wide, pop up. Goal post, press pelvis forward, tiny back bend here. Lower the hands, downward dog. Bend the knees, gaze forward. Step or hop top of the mat. Roll up to a stand. One more time, one more side. You got this. Right knee. Right knee lifts, reach up. Open the hip, goal post. Side crunch, right knee, right elbow. Floating bird, kick right foot back, reach forward. Lean back, warrior two. High lunge skandasana, lean back. Power of the right leg propels us forward. Into our lunge, plant the right hand. Reach left arm up, twisted lunge. Circle back, down, forward, and up. Lower left hand, three-legged dog, left leg lifts, bend the knee, open the hip, side plank, lift the left arm, lower left foot down, wild thing, press the pelvis forward, lower down to a seat, twist to the left, unwind, back to your mat, come up on the knees, fingertips, bend elbows, pop up. Goal post, press pelvis forward, tiny back bend. Lower the hands. Downward facing dog, home stretch, here we come. Bend the knees, gaze forward. Step or hop top of the mat. Roll up to a stand. Tadasana mountain pose. Beautiful. Great job moving through that dynamic flow. Let's cool down a little bit before we end class. So just come to a seat. However you get there. Stretch the legs out long. We did a lot of opening. So let's fold down a little bit. So reach the arms up, gather length through the side body. Seated forward fold, so lengthen forward first, then letting the spine round naturally. You can grab the feet, the calves, wherever you can reach. Bow the head down, letting go of the back of the neck. As we exhale into our fold. Slowing the breaths down, letting our body know you did a great job, but we're ready to cool it down. Slowly rolling back up one vertebra at a time. Take your time. Head is the last to lift. And let's come down to our back body. Let's do a little hip stretch here. So figure four. We're going to cross the right ankle over the left knee. Right knee is out to the side. You can stay right here if this feels like enough, or lift the left foot. Basket the hands behind the left knee. Increasing the stretch by drawing the left knee closer towards the torso. Keeping a nice flex through that right ankle. You can stay still here or maybe sway side to side. Notice how that changes the stretch. Feeling free to experiment here. We're going to switch sides, so let go of the back of the leg, uncross, cross left ankle over right knee, left knee out to the side here. You can keep that right foot planted if this feels like enough, or add on by clasping the hands behind the right knee. The closer you draw the right knee towards the body, the more intense the stretch. Finding somewhere that feels sustainable for you for a few breaths. Keeping a flex through that left ankle. Maybe staying still or swaying side to side. Working out those hips. And letting go of the back of the leg, uncrossing. Send all four limbs up to the sky. We call this dead bug pose. From here, we're gonna just roll through the wrists, roll through the ankles. Our hands, our wrists, our feet, our ankles do so much for us throughout our lives and in our yoga practice that it can feel really good to give them a little bit of attention. Circle in the opposite direction. Give our joints a little bit of love. They do so much unseen work. They're so, so strong. And then bend through the knees. Give them a nice hug. And we're going to set up for our final resting pose of Shavasana. So stretch the legs out long. Take up as much space as you'd like. If you want any props, like a pillow under the head, a bolster under the knees, feel free to grab them. I encourage you to stay here in your Shavasana for at least 5 minutes. Give your body the rest and release it deserves. After all of that hard work we did today, thank you for joining me in this dynamic movement flow. Let me know in the comments if you liked it, you want to see more, or if there's anything else you'd like to see. I am open to suggestions, so thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.